up for you, or if you want to share it with others who would benefit from knowing how to properly journal. I'm looking so forward to learning myself. And thanks to Beth Guyton. She is the founder and president of Interactive Quality, and she has graciously agreed to do this session for us. We really appreciate her giving up her time to help us. So Beth has worked with hospitals for over a decade to optimize the people piece of performance. She's passionate about developing leaders and creating positive, productive work environments. Her expertise and interests include leadership coaching, caregiver resiliency, mindfulness. She is a certified executive coach, a certified professional in healthcare quality, certified mindfulness instructor, and a trained mediator. We could not have a better qualified person to lead us today. Thank you, Beth, so much. I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Patty, and thanks to the DFW Hospital Council. I am thrilled to be here today, and it's great to see so many people interested in this. And what we're going to do today is pull together several things that I have a lot of both expertise and passion in. And we'll just start with journaling. I agree, Patty. Journaling is one of those great ways for us to be able to make sense of all the things we may be feeling or experiencing. It's really not a tricky thing to do. And many of you may have already had quite a lot of experience with journaling. I've actually been a pretty regular journaler, I would say, since I was in high school. So something that most of us probably are familiar with. And then I've done a lot of work with resiliency, as Patty said, working with Audrey Cortez, who's a nurse leader out of Kerrville, Texas, and put together a wonderful resiliency model. And then mindfulness is something that I was probably first introduced to, oh man, maybe like 11 or 12 years ago, but more in the context of business and mindful organizing and how it connects with high reliability to try to drive patient safety and minimize error. So I will just share with you that, like many of us, 2020 was probably the most difficult year of my life. I had quite a bit of stress and struggle and loss too. And so it was probably in August that I began a very personal mindfulness meditation journey. And so through that, I ended up getting certified to be a trainer. So I'm just so excited today to be able to pull all these things together. And during our time, we will actually embark on some mindful meditation specifically to build our resiliency. And we'll pull the journaling in with that. So you'll see how all these things come together. And before we get started, I would just ask everyone to use the chat. And number one, just tell me how you're feeling right now. Just one or two words. It could be something like curious, exhausted, anxious, overwhelmed, optimistic, whatever it is. If you could just put one word into the chat for us. And Patty, if you can just kind of be scanning and maybe seeing what you're seeing quite a bit of there.
Sure, I'm seeing a lot of tired, a lot of exhausted, excited, curious, blessed, busy, determined.
Those are great. Those are great.
We have a happy.
Yeah, and I think I saw some like hopeful and optimistic flying by too. So that's really good too. And so let's just begin by kind of syncing our thinking as a group around the things we'll be talking about today. So resiliency is really, it's a complicated topic, but if we're going to boil it down and simplify it, when we are resilient, we're able to stay firmly grounded in the present moment, no matter how tough that moment is, no matter what struggles we're experiencing. And at the same time, we're able to draw on our successes from the past, experiences, wisdom, knowledge that we've kind of earned, if you will, or created for ourselves as we've worked through previous challenges. And simultaneously, we're firmly grounded in the present, we're pulling on good stuff from the past, but we're able to look forward with optimism and hope and see possibilities. Maybe those good things haven't materialized for us yet, but we can see the potential, we can see the possibilities. And that ability to hold that hope really gives us a lot of energy and empowers us. And so keep that in mind as we move through our time together today. And then mindfulness is simply being fully present in the present moment. So we're in the here and now, we're very aware of what's transpiring, what we're experiencing, but we're doing it in a way where we're not judging it, we're not highly emotionally involved with it, not really kind of interacting. So it's almost as if we're able to take on an observer's perspective, experiencing what's happening, but not getting super involved in it, not judging it, and not being highly reactionary to it. And what time and time again studies have shown us is that mindfulness really enhances our overall well-being, but every aspect of our well-being as well. So cognitively, we're able to be more agile in our thinking. We're able to make better decisions. Emotionally, we have better emotional awareness and self-regulation. It really facilitates our ability to connect with others and create, empathetic feelings towards others, and those relationships that are so important. It helps us socially, it helps us spiritually, it helps us from a psychological standpoint. People who practice mindfulness typically experience less anxiety, and depression. And even physically, we see like a stronger immune system with those who practice mindfulness, as well as just better heart health, blood pressure, and heart rate. So there are a lot of great reasons to make that happen. And specifically to resiliency, not only does it enhance our well-being, but mindfulness is really a practice of training your brain, and it enables you to be able to take that observer's perspective and to reframe tough situations or struggles. So just so we all kind of understand why we're pulling these different things together and how the benefit may come to us. And I would ask that y'all do one more thing for me in the chat, and that is let me know what your experience with mindfulness is in a very simple way. If you've never done any mindful meditation, if you could put a 1 in the chat box for me. And if maybe you've attended a yoga class or in some way just casually, even once or twice gone onto an app and done a guided meditation, put a 2 in there for me. And if you actually personally practice mindful meditation, maybe 2-3 times a week or even every day, if you could put a 3 in the chat box for me. So again, I'm seeing a lot of 2s, it looks like, and 1s. So this hopefully will be a wonderful experience for everybody. And if you haven't done, and I see some 3s too, which is great. If you haven't done a lot of meditation, I promise it will be comfortable, and it won't seem too weird or strange to you. So what I would ask now before we move into the program itself, everybody, if you could just silence your phone so that's not a distraction, and everyone at this point is muted, but just make sure that your microphone is off, because there's nothing worse than running the meditation for somebody else if with noises in the background. And then also go on and make sure, if you haven't, just have a pen, a sheet of paper. It doesn't have to be a fancy journal, but just something for you to be able to do your journaling when we get to that place. Okay. All right. And everybody probably knows on Zoom, if you can change your view at the top if you want to have a side-by-side view or just a presenter view. It's just whatever's going to be best for you. So we'll begin now with a brief meditation, and then we're going to move into, I have 4 journaling prompts set up for us. So we'll take the meditation to just calm ourselves and center ourselves, and then we'll move into those prompts, and we'll do some sharing via the chat, because we do have a pretty big group here. And then we'll do a resiliency meditation where we'll pull all these things together. So begin with me just by finding a comfortable seated position. And it's best if your feet can be planted firmly on the ground, and you just want to feel steady and solid. You can recline a little bit if that's comfortable to you. The most important thing is that your posture will allow the air to move freely in and out of your body. And then you can put your hands down by your side or in your lap. And we'll just begin by taking 3 nice deep breaths together. So breathing in deeply, and you may even want to let your shoulders rise on that inhale, and then just exhale through your mouth, feeling a sense of release. One more nice deep breath in, and release through your mouth. And we'll do our final deep breath in, and just release and relax on that exhale. And now, if you'd like, you can lower your gaze or even close your eyes, whatever's most comfortable to you. And we'll just begin not by trying to regulate or manipulate our breath, but just notice your breath. What are the sensations you can experience as the air is coming in through your nose? And notice when it leaves, is it exiting through your mouth or your nose? And how does that feel? Just paying attention to what you're experiencing, what you're noticing as you inhale and you exhale. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of quiet space to explore those sensations. You may notice sounds or distractions in your environment, or thoughts might even pop up for you that are a little bit distracting and pull your attention away from your breath. And that's perfectly normal. So when you notice that you've drifted, just gently bring your attention back to your breath. And so continue to focus on your inhales and your exhales, but now try to explore some deeper sensations. As you breathe in, where does that air seem to find itself flowing to? Is it maybe deep in your lungs or even your belly? And on your exhales, do you sense any relaxation or release in a particular part of your body? Sometimes we hold a lot of tension in our neck and our shoulders, and on that exhale, we can really feel a release in that spot. Or maybe it's across the front of your chest, even in your arms, your lower back, or your belly. So take a little time now just to explore the deeper sensations of your inhales and your exhales. By turning your attention inward, you can find a very steady rhythm in your breath and a calmness that lies within each of us and is right there waiting for you to access it at any time. And so, this very simple exercise or practice of centering your attention on your breath can be a very calming and soothing exercise. And this is something you can do at any time, no matter what is going on. Just pull away and just take a moment to connect with your breath. And in this, we see both calm, a steadiness, and a strength that we all have accessible to us. And so now let's just take about 3 more rounds of breath, enjoying this peacefulness. And when you're ready, you can gently lift your gaze or open your eyes and join the group again. All right. Is everybody back together? Maybe you guys can let me know in the chat how you're feeling now, if you're ready to move on to our journaling exercise. All right. Well, let's get started. If you've got your paper and pen handy, this is the first prompt that we'll explore. And if you've never journaled before, the most important thing is that we just want to let the thoughts and the feelings flow out onto the page. So if you feel like you're kind of having writer's block or it's difficult, you can just get one word out. You can make a list. The important thing to know is that this will not be graded. Your penmanship, your spelling, how neat or how messy it is, your grammar, nothing really matters. It's just about creating that flow for yourself. And so what we'll do now is I'll read the prompt. You might want to write it at the top of your page and then begin. And there'll be a little bit of music along with each slide that gives you about 3 minutes to write. So our first prompt is: the most difficult thing for me right now is. The most difficult thing for me right now is. All right. Is everyone still writing? Would y'all like a little bit more time? So if you guys would like to share in the chat, and you don't have to, it's totally up to you, but just maybe in one word sense, what's your greatest struggle? So it could be something like loss or isolation, or just feeling overwhelmed. So if people would like to share. So I see a lot of things about, maybe work stressors, motivations, self-health, health, worry, and isolation. So it's just good sometimes, if we had a smaller group, it would be great to talk it through and understand that many of the things, I see balance coming up a lot, that we experience, we're not experiencing on our own. Many others are feeling the same way. So that's just a wonderful thing to understand and know. So I'm going to go on and go back to the slides, and we'll move on to our next prompt, if you guys are ready. And that is, through this struggle, I have learned. And again, you may want to write this on your page. Through this struggle, I have learned. All right, and again, if you could kind of try to wrap up your thinking around this, and know if this isn't enough time for you, you can always go back to these journaling prompts later today or even tomorrow and continue to explore them. But again, I'm wondering if anyone would want to share in the chat just one word. What was their greatest struggle? For me, it would probably be patience. So if anyone wants to share what they're seeing. And Patty, if you could assist me by just reading through the chat, that would be great. And Patty, you may be muted. Oh, thank you.
So be kind to myself, letting go, self-love, self-care. I am capable, I am worthy.
Yeah, those are great. I know it's hard in the midst of when we're facing so much, we seem to be the hardest on ourselves. So that's very powerful. And we're not going to do a self-compassion meditation today. We'll do one for resiliency as we wrap it up, but I'll have some offerings for you guys as we get to the end. I'll share those with you. So let's move on to the next prompt then. And every time that we struggle through something really horrible, in the midst of it, we may not be able to see it, but typically good things do ultimately surface. And so this next prompt is to help you think about that. And it is, for me personally, a few good things have surfaced. I have noticed, and I just kind of gave you some things to think about. Maybe you have noticed some new insights or kind of reprioritized things and gotten reacquainted with the things that are most important or of value to you. Maybe you've changed the way that you think about things or how you approach things. So again, the prompt is, for me personally, a few good things have surfaced. I have noticed. Okay, and again, if you're still busy writing, if you can wrap that up a little bit, and if anybody has something insightful that surfaced that they would love to share in the chat, I would welcome that. And again, Patty, if you don't mind being my trusty assistant and helping with reading through the chat items, that would be awesome.
Certainly. Well, I personally learned I can cook.
That's a great one.
Honoring flow over routine, faith has strengthened, willing to let go of things.
That's
rearrange my priorities, devoted to making change.
That's wonderful. I know this has been unimaginable times, and I think it's interesting to see what surfaces during these challenges. So that's great. I appreciate everybody that shared. And we have one more prompt, so we'll move to that one next. And it's just really looking forward with optimism and hope. So some things that give me hope are, and some things I am looking forward to are. So if you want to just write it as one heading in your journal, you could say some things that give me hope and I am looking forward to are. All right. And so, again, if you're still letting some ideas flow, you can do that and wrap things up. But this is one where I really would encourage everybody to contribute one thing that you're really optimistic about, you're looking forward to, you have hope for materializing. And it could be something happening very soon, like this afternoon, or something happening over the course of the next few months or even during this year. And again, Patty, if you don't mind helping out by reading those, I'd appreciate it so much.
Sure. So vacations has been popping up several times, being able to take a vacation, being more courageous, travel, being closer to family, the vaccine, visiting family,
Yeah.
normalcy. I see
Normalcy.
some themes.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. And so we all do have something that we can be hopeful for and look forward to. So that's great. So now what we're going to do is pull all this together and create a nice sense of resiliency through a resiliency meditation. So just like we did earlier, go on and find a comfortable seated position. And you may remember it's great if your feet can be firmly planted on the ground. You just want to feel just secure in your seat. Have your arms in your lap or resting at your side in a posture that allows the air to move freely. And this time, let's, maybe take some stretches, kind of get our neck feeling good. And as we did earlier, we'll take 3 nice deep breaths. And it's a wonderful trick when you're doing deep breaths to try to lengthen your exhale. So, for example, you may want to inhale in for a count of 4 and then exhale out for like a count of 6. So let's try doing that and do what's comfortable for you. That's just a good, comfortable thing for me. But I'll be quiet so I can breathe and that you can breathe too. But just try to extend that exhale a little bit more than your inhale. And now, as you complete those 3 nice deep rounds of breath, let's begin our resiliency meditation. And as before, if it's comfortable to you, you can lower your gaze or even close your eyes and begin as we did before, just noticing your breath, those initial sensations of the air coming in through your nose and your nostrils, and the sensation of it exiting, whether that's through your nose or your mouth. And again, I'll just give you a little bit of space to explore that. And now begin to notice a little bit more deeply what's going on with your breath as it enters into your body. Again, is it going deep into your lungs or your belly? It's always nice when we have a nice deep inhale into our belly. And on the exhales, can you sense some release and relaxation in a part of your body where you hold a little bit of tension? So, again, focus on what you're experiencing through the deeper sensations of your breath for a little while. And take a moment just to acknowledge this calm and steady state that you are creating for yourself, just simply by directing your attention inward. Take 3 nice breaths just to enjoy that and kind of thank yourself for creating the space where you can be steady. And now feeling very centered, let's draw on our journaling experience to build our resiliency. I would invite you to begin by just considering that struggle, that difficult thing that you identified in the first prompt. Don't get overly involved with it. Don't really go down any paths or thinking about it. Just give it a name. And imagine that you have a file folder and there's lots of little sheets of paper, lots of details about this struggle, this difficulty. But again, we're not going to engage with those. We're just going to neatly stack those papers up and put them in this file folder. And you've got a nice big Sharpie marker, and you're just going to write the name of that struggle on the outside. You've got it all neat and packaged, and it's right here next to you in this very moment. But at the same time, you are centered, you are steady, and you are calm. And you're just sitting alongside that struggle, neatly packaged in the folder. And so let's take a little time just to breathe, being with our difficulty, being with our struggle, but being steady and strong alongside of it. And now, also drawing on our journaling, you identified some learning, some insights, maybe some shifts in your thinking. And this is wisdom that you have created for yourself as you managed and worked your way through things in the past, or maybe even the recent past, almost feel so current, but struggles ongoing. And so, this wisdom, this insight, imagine it as almost like your own personal sun. It's warm and it radiates. And just if you can visually imagine that above your left shoulder. And it's brilliant, it's bright, it's comforting light, and it is shining down on you, and it feels so good. Warm, it's cozy, and you just feel a little sense of uplift in your spirit because you know that through your effort, through your hard work, managing through struggles, you've created this own personal sun for yourself. And in the same way you created it, it wraps back around and it comes back to you, bathing you in comfort, in strength, in a steadiness. And so let's also be with that warm, radiant insight and wisdom and light that you've created for yourself. And it's almost like we're just going to bask in that for a little bit. And so, again, enjoy that as you center your attention on your breath and the comfort of this insight and wisdom you have. This wisdom and insight has become a part of you. It's part of your essence, part of your character. It gives you confidence. It enhances your abilities. And it helps you to know that you can handle things. And as that warm, radiant light is shining down on you, it's also illuminating that file folder that's sitting alongside of us. And it helps you to see that that struggle is not you. It's not a part of you. You must coexist with it, but it does not define you. It's separate from you. And this wisdom and this light shining down also help you to see that this struggle is temporary. Yes, in this moment and this time, it's there, but the wisdom helps you to know that it won't always be there. It will move along in its own time, in its own way, but you will remain. And this wisdom and insight that you have generated for yourself, and new insights and new wisdom that you are continually creating, remain. They are part of you and they sustain you. They give you strength. They give you positive energy. And this light from your wisdom and strength also helps you to be able to see that that struggle doesn't just have one dimension. And maybe you can begin through your wisdom to look at it differently, see it differently, and through that, possibly see opportunities embedded in that struggle. And so, again, let us just turn inward to our breath and just be in this moment with our wisdom, our capabilities, our strength, as well as our struggle. And you'll begin to notice now that this warm light that you created for yourself is, of course, wrapping around you and that struggle like a nice, cozy blanket, but it's also spilling over out in front of you. And you begin to see the possibilities, the things you're optimistic about, you're hopeful for, everything the light, the wisdom, the opportunity, and yes, the current difficulty are all wrapped up in this radiant light that you have created for yourself. And so let's take a moment and just focus our attention in front of us on one or two things that give us hope that we are most looking forward to. And let's indulge ourselves in envisioning that thing, at least two, maybe three specific dimensions about it that make us joyful. And as you begin to visualize this, you may even want to allow a gentle smile, an upturn of the corners of your mouth, and just be in the warmth of all your goodness and your strength and the possibility, the good things that are coming your way. And again, let's just focus in through our breath on this. And so here we stand, firmly grounded in the moment, acknowledging all the calm and strength, the steadiness that we have right here, right now. And yes, alongside of us is a difficulty or a struggle. And shining brightly is our ability, our strength, our wisdom, our insights from the past, and those we are building up and creating for ourselves right now, right here. And in this moment, we also hold much hope and optimism for good things that lie ahead. And so let us be with all of this embodied together in this moment with us in the very center of it. And again, I would say, please focus on your breath, travel inward, and just be with all of this very moment. In this moment, I have a simple wish, a blessing for you. May you be healthy, may you be safe, and may you be steady. As our meditation comes to a close, take 3 more nice rounds of breath, inhaling in and exhaling, inhaling and releasing, inhaling and exhaling. And then as you're ready, reach your arms out to the side and up over your head. Let your hands gently connect above your head and float down in front of you, gathering up all the goodness you've created for yourself today. And as you're ready, you can lift your gaze or open your eyes, and we can connect again as a group. As you guys are reemerging, I would love to hear how you're feeling and any experiences you may have had with that in the chat. I see some people saying thank you and relax and calm and focused and centered. Oh, less tension in my shoulders. I love that. That's awesome. And what's interesting about mindfulness, it's so relaxing, but it really does energize you. Is anyone feeling that sensation too? That's great. That's great. All right. And we have a few minutes. I have some resources that I'm going to share with you guys. And then I know we have a large group, but if some people, we can use the reaction. Let me just share what I'll be sending to each of you all, because Patty shared the list of registrants with me. And so I want to share some things that I'll be sharing, and then we'll be able to go through, and if anybody wants to use the reactions, and maybe we can let a few people talk, because it feels like we're kind of in a space. I'd love to hear people's voices and thoughts. So I've found such a need for this and so much interest in this. So I'm going to be doing some 30-minute sessions the week of February 15th. So you can go to this website, interactivequality.mykajabi.com, but I'll also send that out in a link. But I'm trying to offer some things for healthcare workers, whether frontline, ancillary services, support services, and even in administration during the lunch hour. And then I'll do a couple in the evening at 8 o'clock Central Time. So I hope that that's good for everybody. I also have a handful of meditations that I put on YouTube. One of them is a self-empowerment meditation that makes a lot of sense for anybody, but there's one very specific for frontline caregivers. It's like a walking meditation as they're transitioning, leaving their shift to go home. And that's one of the things that IHI really recommends as a kind of a critical point, is to help people transition to be able to go home and then just enjoy their time off. So all the best practices have been kind of wrapped into that meditation. And there's a self-compassion meditation there too that anybody would benefit from, even though the introduction is a little bit focused towards caregivers. I'll also just send you an active listening guide from our Steady and Raise program. That's just a wonderful thing, because during this time, we all really want to feel connected to one another. And the more that we can listen with our full attention to others, it's just a wonderful gift that we can give to someone else. And then I'll send an invitation for those different meditations I'll be doing the week of February 15th. And I'm also going to send out, I think it only has 4 questions, but it'll come from Question Pro. It's just a survey, because I'm beginning this journey to offer these types of classes or presentations, and I just really would value everyone's feedback on those. So that's another thing that you'll receive from me. So I'm going to turn off the slides now. And like I said, under reactions, if anybody would like to share or ask a question, if Patty will help me, because I only have one screen, so I can't see everybody, but I would love to answer any questions if anybody has any. I'm not seeing any, but I don't know. I mean, if someone can just, maybe I'm not seeing, like the hand raise is under reaction. You can do that, or if you want to just unmute yourself, because it's not like we have a bunch of people jumping in, that would be fine too. All right. Well, if we don't have any questions, Patty, is there anything you'd like? Oh, wait, Cecilia, yes, please go ahead. Can you unmute yourself and then
Hi, Beth.
how are you? So good
I just wanted to say this is really great, and thank you so much. And I think a lot of us, have benefited from this, and so I am so interested to exploring some more.
Oh, good. Well, I'm so glad, and I hope you'll be able to join me for some of those sessions the week of the 15th. And I'm going to record those too, so if someone registers and then they can't make it, they'll get a recording. So, all right. Well, I don't see any more hands raised, but Patty, do you have anything else you'd like to say, as we have 1 minute left?
I would like to just say thank you so much, Beth. This has been awesome. I can't believe that I am energized and yet calm. It really did help center me. I hope it helped everybody else. I will get the recording out to everybody, and please feel free to share it and tell everybody about the great work that Beth is doing. We really do appreciate you taking your time.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor to be here, and I'm just so grateful. I hope it is helpful. Like I said, I had the roughest year I've ever had in 2020, and if it weren't for me really digging into this mindfulness piece, I don't know how I would have made it through. So it's been really helpful to me, and it's a pleasure to be able to share it with other people. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.